Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us this evening. Happy Hobo Week and welcome home. I'm Andy Foberg, a 1999 graduate and president and CEO of the SDSU Alumni Association. Tonight, we honor 6 individuals who have distinguished themselves in their professional careers, have given untiring service to our state, and have given their time and talents to our alma mater. Tonight's honorees were chosen by representatives from the Alumni Association Board of Directors and each academic college. On the eve of Hobo Day, it is appropriate that we honor one of this university's oldest and proudest traditions. Tonight, we gather and celebrate the high achievements of the individuals who best represent what it means to be an alum of South Dakota State University. As we begin tonight's festivities, please help me welcome the SDSU Concert Choir under the direction of the Paul and Doris Moriarty Endowed Professor of Choral Activities, Dr. Laura Diddle.
Thank you, everybody. Our opening number is called Hope, and the text to it is Hallelujah. It's a great celebratory piece in the mood and spirit of this celebration this evening. 1, 2, ready, go. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Thank you very much, Dr. Diddle and the members of the SDSU Concert Choir. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them one more round of applause. We are honored to be joined tonight by President Barry Dunn and his wife, Jane. Following in the great tradition of his distinguished predecessors, he has represented this university in a manner which makes us all proud to be alumni. South Dakota State University has been very fortunate to have the right leader at the right time, and President Dunn has been the right leader at the right time. Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th president of South Dakota State University, Dr. Barry H. Dunn.
Well, thank you, Andy, and good evening, everyone. What a wonderful hobo day this is going to be. And just on a side note, September by Earth, Wind, and Fire is on my playlist, but I'm cooler than you think I am. So seriously, it's great to be with you, and I certainly want to congratulate everyone, and actually everyone tonight, because certainly while we honor 6 individuals, there's tables full of supportive people for each of them. So it's an honor to all of you. So South Dakota State is very, very proud of you. The 6 of you have achieved wonderful things in your life and careers, and it's our sincere pleasure and honor to recognize each of you for the legacy that you have built. I hope you are as equally proud of your alma mater and the path that we have set for the university. Just last year, we introduced a new strategic plan called Pathway to Premier, and it outlines an exciting and transformative journey that SDSU will follow on our pursuit to be a premier university. But tonight, we will honor 6 people who, through their time, talents, and service, have distinguished themselves in their professions and in their communities. The designation as a distinguished alum showcases the very best of South Dakota State. Kendra, I want to thank you for your outstanding leadership in serving our nation in the U.S. Army and the U.S. Army Reserves. First things first, help me thank Kendra for that enormous service. And in addition to that, your significance in your work is recognized in the state and nation and internationally as premier. You have had a successful career as a distinguished professor and researcher, and you were the driving force in nutrition and dietetics at SDSU. You were an academic leader, lifelong learner, collaborator, and overall champion in nutrition education. Congratulations. Jerry, you were an amazing example of what can be accomplished with a degree from South Dakota State. After teaching and serving as a department head here at SDSU, you headed down to Dakota State to serve as its president for 17 years, and I don't know how you'd accomplish that. That is amazing. You provided leadership to that campus through a change in mission that some of us remember was very controversial but very timely, and that mission change is even doing better and better each day. It resulted in enrollment growth, impacting the university, the community, and the state. Congratulations. Now I gotta find Rob. I can't see him. Oh, right in front of me. Rob, what an incredible career you had. Your leadership and dedication to the South Dakota retirement system impacts over 90,000 public employees throughout the state of South Dakota. SDSU employees are direct beneficiaries of your amazing work. Under your oversight, this system has been recognized as one of the very best managed public employee retirement systems in the entire nation. SDSU thanks you for this critical impact for our employees, and we also appreciate the time you devoted to serve us on the board of the SDSU Alumni Association. Thank you so much. Erica, your long and successful career as a nurse and now as the Chief Nursing Officer at Sanford Health is exemplary. Your leadership in developing collaborative workforce development programs will provide our state and our region with the next generation of caregivers that we so desperately need. You are probably best known on our campus, though, for your leadership and roles with the SDSU Alumni Association and now as a member of the SDSU Foundation Board of Governors. Your service will help SDSU continue to provide a premier education to literally thousands of young people throughout our state and region. Thank you so much. Now I'm looking for Kurt. I can't see him. There you are. Kurt, your experience, commitment, and dedication to the banking industry and the strong reputation you have in the state of South Dakota made you a highly respected professional in your field. Your advocacy for banks in South Dakota, along with your roles of lobbying and public policy making, are absolutely commendable. Your passion for educating and advocating has created successful banking programs within our state. Thank you so much. Dennis, long ago, not so long ago, you opened the door for SDSU's relationship with Eros. The relationship you helped build and we continue to maintain with Eros is something we take deep pride in. Your leadership in the College of Engineering provided SDSU a solid foundation as we aspire to be an R1 institution. Your extensive career as a faculty member and researcher has led to distinguished roles and positions, as well as an international reputation as an innovator in satellite calibration. Congratulations. To our 6 honorees, through your eminent service, dedicated work, incredible foresight, leadership in your fields, you serve your alma mater as exceptional role models and mentors. Thank you for your distinguished service and support of South Dakota State University, and have a very good evening.
Erica DeBoer. Erica DeBoer, a 1997 nursing graduate from Sherburne, Minnesota, serves as a System Vice President and Chief Nursing Officer for Sanford Health, overseeing 9,000 nurses in post-acute, ambulatory, and inpatient settings throughout the Sanford system. DeBoer began her career as a nurse assistant at the Good Samaritan Society in Jackson, Minnesota, then at Sioux Valley Hospital, now Sanford in Sioux Falls, while still an SDSU student. DeBoer began taking leadership roles in 2002 when she was named a clinical care coordinator at Sioux Valley Hospital. In 2011, DeBoer became clinical nurse leader in the Clinical Informatics Center for Care Management at Sanford USD Medical Center. In 2019, she was named Senior Executive Director of that office. DeBoer assumed her current leadership role in 2021. Erica was included in the prestigious 2023 Becker's Chief Nursing Officers to Know list and has been appointed to the Vizient System Executive Nurses Committee. DeBoer is a past chair of the SDSU Alumni Association Board of Directors and now serves on the SDSU Foundation Board of Governors. DeBoer has served as an adjunct faculty member for SDSU Nursing, and she and her husband Shane sponsored a control room for a nursing simulation lab on the SDSU campus. In recognition of her professional achievements in nursing, Erica DeBoer is honored tonight as a 2024 recipient of the South Dakota State University Distinguished Alumna Award.
Wow, I'm usually the one that's up here presenting the award, so this feels a little bit strange, I gotta tell you. I'm much more comfortable in that role. It's hard to know exactly what to say. SDSU has become a really important home to me, not just because of the fact that I came here because my twin brother was here and I fell in love with it the first time I came to visit campus, but because nursing is what I've always wanted to do. Obviously, Dean Olson, Vanita, really key to the growth and my professional development as I started as a nursing student. But then more importantly, as I was welcomed with open arms as part of the Alumni Association and had the opportunity to serve for multiple years, and had also the opportunity now to serve on the Board of Trustees. So, I'm humbled. I spend a lot of time talking about the different words of the year. So when I think about how honored I feel to be here, I want to just share a couple other words that resonate with me. Humbled, honored, emotional, and so incredibly grateful for the opportunity to be part of such an amazing community of jackrabbits, of alumni, of up-and-coming nurses. It's just amazing, and I can't thank you enough for the honor.
Kurt Everson. Kurt Everson was raised on a farm near Hayti, earned a degree in ag business from SDSU, and followed that with a master's degree in economics in 1979. He began his career as a natural resource economist with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, on a path that was scheduled to have him heading toward Washington, D.C. Everson had a different capital in mind. Everson moved his young family to Pierre, where he started as a budget analyst in the South Dakota Bureau of Finance and Management. He spent almost 8 years as a commissioner of finance and management, balancing the state's budget and navigating the political and economic realities of state government. In 2002, Kurt was hired to lead the South Dakota Bankers Association, the state's leading banking advocacy organization. He quickly became known as a passionate advocate for South Dakota banks, and his opinion was sought by policymakers in Congress and the legislature. Shortly before his retirement, he helped the South Dakota Bankers Association launch the Emerging Leaders and Women in Banking programs, the latter of which has grown to be the biggest banking event in the state. He led the organization for 18 years and retired in 2020. He's also served on the SDSU Alumni Association Board of Directors, the Governor's Council of Economic Advisors, and the Disciplinary Board of the South Dakota State Bar. In recognition of his professional achievements, Kurt Everson is honored tonight as a 2024 recipient of the South Dakota State University Distinguished Alumnus Award.
Don't panic, this font's pretty big on here, so I don't have that much to say. I tell you, as I look around the room this evening, I see the faces of family, colleagues, and friends, many of whose lives have been touched by and who have impacted this university in different ways. All of you make me realize even more how great an honor it is and how humbled I am to be named as distinguished alum of South Dakota State University. Not in my wildest dreams did I ever think I would have such an honor. This campus holds lots of great memories for me, like I'm sure a lot of you. Some of them, like surviving my first hobo week in 1973. Back then, freshmen were required to wear green beanies at all times and be subject to regular interrogations by Hobo Day committee members about all forms of SDSU trivia. If you were really unlucky, or you happen to have a big brother who was on the Hobo Day committee, you might get tossed in jail in the old barn during kangaroo court and await sentencing on some trumped-up charge. I also remember singing with the South Dakota Statesmen in places like Sylvan Theater here across the street, old donor auditorium in the old admin building, and perhaps best of all, on a spring break tour in the tasting room at the Coors Brewery in Golden, Colorado. We found out quickly we were pretty smart. The more we sang, the more they served. I also remember competing in all forms of intramural sports with all my newfound buddies, some of whom became lifelong friends. And I also remember even going and conquering classes like the highly feared Principles of Microeconomics with Professor Rocky Gilbert. Anybody in the 70s and 80s remembers Rocky. And then Herb Allen's Farm and Ranch Management, where we learned about computer punch cards, linear programming on the university's mainframe, which was a concept we all came to know later as a spreadsheet. So my degrees in ag business and economics didn't teach me everything I'd need to know about natural resource economics, government finance, or the complexities of our nation's banking system, but what they did provide was a solid foundation on which I could develop such expertise. Whatever success I enjoyed during my career were always truly team successes. This university helped me give me confidence first to make positive contributions as a member of a team, and later on to build and lead my own teams of professionals in pursuit of sound public policy, be that in government finance or in prudent banking laws and regulations. There's a whole bunch of people I should thank tonight, the first of which is a guy named Steve Zelmer, who is a lowly Augie grad. I want to thank Steve for bringing me back to South Dakota to work as the state's economist in the Bureau of Finance and Management. That was the start of, it was the best move I've made professionally, I think, in my life. I also want to thank former State Senator Dave Knutson, who served as Chief of Staff for the late Bill Janklow at the beginning of his second go-around as governor. Thanks to both of those gentlemen for the opportunity to lead BFM as a commissioner to structure and administer the state budget from 1995 to 2002. And I also want to thank the leaders of South Dakota's banking industry who volunteered their time as directors of the South Dakota Bankers Association and who believed I was the right person to be a trusted voice for this state's very diverse banking industry for more than 17 years. After I was notified by Andy as my selection as a distinguished alumnus, I learned that a group of my banking industry friends were the ones who initiated and supported my nomination. Some, but not all of those folks are here tonight, but I want to say thanks to all of them. Thanks first to my good friend, longtime counsel to the South Dakota Bankers Association, Brett Kennecke. He's here tonight. I also get to ride with Brett tomorrow in his vintage Ford Bronco. So watch for the powder blue Bronco with the license plate bums. That's us. I also want to thank my successor at South Dakota Bankers Association, my good friend and USD alum, Carl Adam. And then I have a group of banker friends. Again, some are here tonight, some are not. Thanks to Dana Dykhouse and John McGrath from First Premier Bank. Thanks to Kevin Tetzloff and Christina Schaefer from First Bank and Trust. To Larry Ness, Nate Francine, and Rob Stevenson from First Dakota National Bank. Jeff Davis from Bryant State Bank, and Kevin Moe from First National Bank of Omaha. Last but certainly not least, thanks to the members of my family who are here tonight. Without your love and your support, my life would be emotional, empty. Mom and Dad, Dale and Luann and Everson are here tonight, 92 years young, and what a blessing to us all. My older brother Ken is here tonight. Yes, he of the 1973 Hobo Day Committee who had no mercy on his little brother. Ken and his wife Susan are here tonight. My sister Kay and her husband Randy Tassner are here tonight. Brother Neil and his wife Mary. I'm not going to tell you all the embarrassing things about Neil, other than he was recently asked by our seatmates at the football game, oh, you know, Kurt, is he your dad? Okay. So goes my ego. My daughter Jenna is here tonight with her husband Jeff Heap, plus her grandsons Charlie and Jack. Last, wife Roxy, who stood by me and filled the family void when, all too often, my work got in the way of more important time with family. I love you all. Go Jacks.
Dennis Helder. Dennis Helder earned bachelor's degrees in animal science and electrical engineering, and added a master's degree in electrical engineering, and seemingly never left SDSU. The Canton native spent 34 years on the SDSU faculty, serving as head of the Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, Associate Dean for Research in the Jerome J. Lohr College of Engineering, and Director of the SDSU Image Processing Lab. The distinguished professor emeritus became an expert in the field of radiometric calibration of satellite imagery, working extensively with the Earth Resources Observation and Science Center near Sioux Falls and NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. He has been Researcher of the Year for the college, and he received Group Achievement Awards from NASA and Aeros Data Center, as well as the U.S. Geological Survey's John Wesley Powell Award, which is the highest civilian award given by the USGS. In 2023, Lohr College of Engineering named him its Distinguished Engineer. During his career, he received grants totaling more than $27 million. In recognition of his professional achievements and commitment to South Dakota State University, Dennis Helder is honored tonight as a 2024 recipient of the South Dakota State University Distinguished Alumnus Award.
Gee, they can make almost anybody look good in that video, can't they? Well, I'm very honored to receive this award and can hardly believe I'm a part of this esteemed group tonight, and I'd like to offer my congratulations to all of you. I had the good fortune of having Dr. Thunheim as a professor when I was an undergrad. What little I know about semiconductor physics came from that man. And Kendra and I worked together on campus, somewhat indirectly, but I know she has a wonderful credential, and so congratulations to you guys and all of you as well. I have to admit, though, when I got the invitation to this event, I was a little bit worried, because they used the slogan called Legends and Leaders. And I thought, I am not a legend. I'm in the wrong group. I'm not even a very good leader. You know, leaders have vision, right? Those are the men and women who can see what the future should look like. And I discovered at an early age, I didn't have very good vision. I thought, you know, I'm going to trust the Lord, let Him lead my life, depend on Him. And I just can't describe to you the many interesting series and sequences of events that occurred as a result of that decision. For example, a little known fact, I've got to keep my secret now. I started engineering at a different school in the state. Not going to tell you who it was. But through this odd sequence of events, I end up at SDSU a semester later. And then a couple years after that, I meet this pretty girl. Again, a sequence of events I could never have predicted or planned. And a little while after that, she actually accepts my offer to marry me. Couldn't believe it. She's sitting right there. She's been my wife for 46 years. You know that old saying, she's my better half? She's like my better 3/4 or more. Together we raised 5 children. Our youngest is sitting there with his wife. They're all married and raising their children, 16 of them all together. So what a wild ride having a family. It's terrific. How many of you met your spouse at SDSU? That's what I thought. Oh, I started working with Aeros, as the video said, through a cold phone call that led to events I couldn't have planned. More interestingly, I got to go to Goddard Space Center because my boss, Dwayne Sanders, sitting there, bought me an airplane ticket. I think he went with me, if I remember right. And we went to Goddard Space Center and we talked to one of the top guys in satellite calibration technology. It was over his noon hour, and he did 2 things. He consumed a bag of microwave popcorn for lunch. And secondly, simultaneously, he tore my dissertation to shreds. And I walked out that door with my tail between my legs, and I thought, I'm never working with NASA. And once again, this strange sequence of events, he becomes my mentor, one of the brightest men I've ever met. Worked with him for almost 20 years. And when he retired, NASA took all of his support and gave it to our image processing lab here at SDSU. Just amazing events. Speaking of SDSU, I spent most of my career here, as the video said, and it's been a terrific place to work. I had great bosses, always. I had great colleagues to work with, great staff, solid students in the lab and in the classroom. And I think part of that is due to the fact that SDSU, more so than most universities, has been able to stay focused on the true mission of a university. And the true purpose or mission of a university is very simple. It's to seek the truth, and disseminate it. And SDSU's done a good job of that over the years. I want to commend President Dunn, Barry, in your tenure, you've done a great job that way. It's easy to get distracted by fads in higher education, but we need to keep focused on the truth. For the students you have now and the alumni that they'll be in the future. So thank you very much for this award. I'm emotional, but I'm not shedding a tear, surprisingly. And may we all be seekers of the truth as the Lord leads us. Thank you so much.
Kendra Cattleman. Avon native, Kendra Cattleman earned a bachelor's degree in nutrition and food science and spent 26 years on campus, serving as the coordinator of the Nutrition and Dietetics program, head of the Health and Nutritional Sciences Department, and the director of the School of Health and Consumer Sciences. Her research on nutrition education and changing eating behaviors netted more than $13 million in grants. Cattleman was honored as the state's outstanding dietitian in 2005 and was a driving force getting SDSU's dietetic internship program accredited and having the internship relocated to the SDSU campus. She has also led nutrition education programs in the state as well as internationally. She was recognized by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics with its 2020 Medallion Award for contributions to the profession. Cattleman was commissioned as a Distinguished Military SDSU ROTC graduate in the U.S. Army. Her first assignment was at the Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C. Cattleman retired after 32 years of service as a colonel in the U.S. Army Reserves. She was activated for Desert Storm in 1991 and Global War on Terrorism in 2003. In recognition of her professional achievements in dietetics, Kendra Cattleman is honored tonight as a 2024 recipient of the South Dakota State University Distinguished Alumna Award.
Thank you, Dennis. So I guess I could just say ditto. You know, I'm at that point where I'm so thankful to be here. This is a great recognition, and I'm really humbled. And I want to especially thank those who nominated me. I know Dr. Jessica Meendering and many of you here provided nomination letters for it, and that takes time, but thank you. One of the former marketing mottos for SDSU was, "You can go anywhere from here," and that definitely applies to me. I started out, I'm a graduate of a one-room country school, 1st through 8th grade, and you notice I said first because they didn't have kindergarten, okay, so I didn't get the kindergarten kickoff. And then I went to Avon High School and chose SDSU because they had nutrition and dietetics. And that's the beginning of my career. I did an ROTC scholarship because my parents at the time couldn't afford college, and it was wonderful. So I graduated from SDSU with an ROTC as a distinguished military graduate and started my career in the military at Walter Reed Army Medical Center as a dietitian. And because of that, I had the opportunity to serve some time on active duty and the rest of my time as reserves for 32 years. I'm a first-generation college student, and my parents didn't have the opportunity to go to college, but they instilled in my sister and I that work ethic and that we could do anything. So, and my twin sister is here tonight, and I challenge you on those pictures up there that they showed to tell which one was which, okay? So I looked at them, it's like, I don't remember which one was Karen and which one was me. That same thing, we have some baby pictures. If my mother hadn't put the names on the back, anyway, I hope she was right. When I went to Fort Leonard Wood, of course, I met my husband, and that's the rest of the history. We were married. And we have two wonderful children. Brad, who is now an Army chaplain at Fort Hood, or now Fort Cavazos, Texas, and his wife and children were on their way up here to celebrate with us and didn't make it. But the in-laws are here, so thank you for coming, Diane and David. And my daughter, who is an SDSU graduate and a veterinarian in Denver, they made it. Mark and Leslie, thank you for taking the time to come. I appreciate it. I have numerous members who helped me along the way. Again, my twin sister, who is just a call away. Over 50 years now, we've been talking to each other almost daily, so thanks, Karen. I've been able to see the world because of SDSU, and I really say that. You know, all those pictures, a lot of those pictures you took that were up there, many of them I had the opportunity to take undergraduate students and graduate students on educational exchanges, as well as to meetings for research. And by the way, if you notice my shoes, I had an opportunity to get these on one of those trips, so thank you for allowing me to wear them. There are many people that I want to thank that gave me opportunities, and my first department head, which is not here, was Dr. Marilyn Swanson. She gave me the opportunity to do teaching and research, and my career took off in that area, so I want to thank her, and she's not here tonight, but I want to make sure she knows. I have other mentors throughout my career, but there are some here tonight, and I want to make sure they know that. Dr. Jill Thorngren, who was a former dean, gave me the opportunity to be a department head. She had trust in me. And a couple department heads who kept me in line when I was faculty was Dr. Matt Vukovich and Dr. C.Y. Wang. I had a lot of ideas, but they kept me on track, so I appreciate that. And the other thing is the colleagues at SDSU are exceptional. The collegiality at working at SDSU is exceptional, and I can say that because I've worked with colleagues from all over the U.S., and SDSU's mentorship and collegiality is beyond. And I couldn't have been where I've been without that. And the students. My research career is based on the students that I mentored. They all helped me. In fact, I have many students, and I have many graduate students, and I have one student who's in Rapid City now, Krista Leischner, and she would say to me, I knew when we were starting a new project. She'd sit us down and she'd go, this is the deal, and we'd be starting something new. So I'm so grateful for the opportunities at SDSU. It's a great place to work. It's a great place to start your education. And oh, by the way, Rob, who's receiving one tonight, who in the retirement system, great retirement, so thank you.
Gerald Thunheim. Gerald, or Jerry Thunheim, a Langford native, earned a degree in engineering physics from South Dakota State University before adding a master's in physics in 1964. Dr. Thunheim taught in the physics department at SDSU from 1968 to 1985 and was department head for the last 7 years. He then spent 2 years as Dean of Natural Sciences at Eastern Washington University before returning to South Dakota to serve as president of Dakota State University in Madison for 17 years, from 1987 until his retirement in 2004. He led DSU through a mission change to focus on computer and information systems technology. The Jerry A. Thunheim Classroom Building is named after him. And in 2003, he received an honorary doctorate of public service degree for his contributions to South Dakota. During his tenure as Dakota State President, the university saw a 236% increase in enrollment to 2,263 just before he retired, with computer majors growing from 109 to 973 students to account for nearly half of its degree-seeking students. He was recognized as SDSU's Distinguished Engineer in 1994 and inducted into the Dakota State University Hall of Fame. In recognition of his professional achievements, Gerald Thunheim is honored tonight as the 2024 recipient of the South Dakota State University Distinguished Alumnus Award.
Well, I have a confession to make. I wasn't responsible for all of the accomplishments that they're giving me credit for. Since this is my last award that I think, probably, now I can tell you who really did the work. And some of them are here. So I'd just like to recognize some of those people. You know, somebody said that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it took a whole lot more than a village to raise me and keep me going through my career. First, my parents. My mother had 8 years of school. My dad had 9 because he had 8 years in Norway and a vocational school. But they always encouraged me. Dad always said that if you get an education, nobody can take that away from you. And I really believe that. I want to thank my older sister, Norma, who started me on my academic career at age of 3. When she came home from school, she would play school. We'd play school. So when I started in a country school, one-room country school, I could do what the first and second graders were doing. And in a country school, there are advantages. You listen to all of the other classes. So when I was in the first grade, I was listening to the second graders and the third graders and the fourth graders. I didn't understand a lot of it, but you know, I learned from it. And so being schooled in a country school is not necessarily that negative. I especially remember my seventh grade teacher, Miss Bonnie Hagan. She was my first crush. I would have done anything for Miss Hagan, and she convinced me that I could do whatever I wanted to academically, and actually got me to believe part of it. The biggest day in my life was when I was invited to come down to SDSU for a scholarship day, because I wanted to go to college, but no one in our family had gone through 4 years. Our parents just couldn't help. When I came down for scholarship, we interviewed, and it was the first year of the Briggs scholarships. And I got one, and it was $500 a year, and it paid for tuition, fees, room and board, and I even had a little more money left. So I have to thank the state of South Dakota, because at that time,
they paid 75% of instructional costs. So even though I would have not dared to go to college without the scholarship, I probably could have, but I didn't know that. So the scholarship, and I went back to, I got home about midnight. I woke my parents up and told them I got a scholarship, and I don't think they believed me until morning. So that was the biggest day of my life. So I'd like to thank Stephen Briggs. You know, he developed the Briggs Stratton engine here at SDSU. And the physics department was, I got my degree or my scholarship for engineering, but physics wasn't engineering at the time, so engineering physics classified as a legitimate, and it was great. The physics department was really, really supportive. And after my PhD, and I particularly want to thank Dr. Bruce Miller. If anybody knew him, he taught me not only to be curious about physics and be excited about learning physics, he taught me how to be, I think I learned part of, being just a good human being. He was just a great, great person. And also, when I came back as a faculty member, Bruce Miller was again very supportive of me all the way through. I became department head, and he was one of the people that really encouraged me. And as department head, I'd like to give credit to the person that did most of the work. And that's Sally Kruger. She's right there. She taught me how to be a department head for someone who knew nothing about it. And she's been just a great supporter of me and a good friend ever since. Then I moved on to Eastern Washington, came back to Dakota State, and again, I found people to do my work. I really want to thank Linda Brozick. She kept me going and did most of the work. I was given the credit, but at that time I just took it. But I finally can confess. Cecilia Whitmire, probably the best hire I ever made in my life. She was my academic vice president, and in my opinion, she's the best academic vice president that I knew anywhere. Tough, as academic vice presidents need to be, but very good in helping people along their path. Susan Slaughter was with us all 17 years. And Marie Johnson came on. She's Norwegian, so we talk the same talk. I'm a full-blooded Norwegian, so it was a great, great group. I've always said that whether you like your job or not depends more on the people that you're working with than on the work you're doing. And I believe that so sincerely in all of my career. For all of my career, I've enjoyed going to work, except in a couple of years cases, Eastern Washington, to be honest. Because I had great people there. They were fun, we had fun, and we also worked very hard when we had to work very hard. I also want to thank my brothers and sisters. I've got my favorite sister, my little sister here. The reason I call her the favorite sister is she's the one that's here. If it was a different sister that is here, I would say it was a different sister. But they were always, my family was always very supporting. My two sons are here. My daughter couldn't be here, she's in Kuwait. My granddaughter represents her though, Sabina Ahmed. And so family, family is very important. Now colleagues are also very important, and I don't know where to stop in thanking. There's several people here, particularly Dwayne Sander. He used to, I remember one night I was really low. I was a department head and things had gone wrong and we were getting a budget cut and I didn't know what I was gonna do. And I walked by his house and he said, well, come on in. And we started drinking his homemade wine. And after about 3 bad bottles, and 3 others that were really pretty good, I left with much lighter heart. And so, and then finally, the most important person in my life right now, Nancy, she would be here. She had a plane ticket, but she fell and broke her hip about 2 weeks ago. She's doing fine, but there's no way she could travel. So we've had 24 years together now, and she's the one that helps me and keeps me going in my life now. So finally, I'd like to thank SDSU. It's by far the best move I made coming here, and allowed me to go to college and allowed me to do what I've done. Or other people did for me, I mean. So, and thank the Alumni Association for the award. I really, really appreciate it. It was totally unexpected. Just thank you.
Rob Wiley. Thousands of state retirees in South Dakota are better off because of Rob Wiley. An economics graduate from Aberdeen, he worked for the South Dakota retirement system for more than 37 years and served as its executive director from 2003 to 2019. The system is widely recognized as one of the most well-funded and efficiently operated public employee retirement systems in the United States. While executive director, he also served on the South Dakota Investment Council, which oversees the investment of all South Dakota trust assets, more than $15 billion. The state retirement system has been recognized by the Society of Actuaries as a model public employee retirement system and by the Pew Research Center as one of the best managed public employee retirement systems in the nation. Wiley served on the SDSU Alumni Association Board from 2014 to 2020. After retirement, he has continued to serve the Pierre area and is currently chair of the board for Avera St. Mary's Hospital, as well as serving on the Avera Health Board of Consultants and the Delta Dental Board. In recognition of his professional achievements, Rob Wiley is honored tonight as a 2024 recipient of the South Dakota State University Distinguished Alumnus Award.
Greetings, all of you. You're hearing from my voice, and I'm not fully put together in that end, but I'll try and work right through it here. Thank you, by the way, Justin, and to all the members of the Alumni Association, Andy and your staff. You've done great work at this event and at all the events that I'm able to attend, and so thank you very much for all of your efforts. The interesting thing as I sat through the presentations here is that so many of them are very similar in a few ways. All of us had the great opportunity to spend time at this great university and meet people here that made a difference in our lives and grew. Learned many different things. Teamwork was an effort in every single discussion that was had earlier. And then I also like to think that there was a function of character that was also talked about. You don't just ultimately work your way into a position that is just independent of anyone around you. Everything about character, being able to get along, being able to build a team is ultimately what every single one of us who have stood before you today has said. I also want to do what we've done through our whole group and say a bunch of thank yous. Any of us are fortunate enough to have associates that have pushed our name forward, maybe in our career and also in this induction ceremony. I have a number of people who are here tonight and some that are not, that have been great supporters and promoters. Matt Clark's here tonight. Matt Michaels is not, but Matt has been very active with us all along. BJ Smith isn't able to be here, and he's also been a part of all this fun. Gene Hunhoff is here and has been a great supporter, and likewise Wes Cheddar. So thank you to all of you, but that would be amiss. Larry Tiedemann and I are such good friends, and he has really kind of carried the water for me. Larry, thank you. So kind. I'm also blessed to have many of my family members here tonight. My wife, Sarah, has been with me for 50 years now. It's a wonder she has put up with that. But she is also a SDSU graduate with me. And like all of you that earlier raised your hand, we met here at school, and somehow or other, maybe it's stuck in some way. I don't know. You know, she just doesn't like change, I guess, is maybe what it is. I'm not really sure. But our girls, Kate, her husband James, and our two wonderful grandsons are there right before us. And then Emma and Matt Skyberg, my brother Jerry, and his wife Debbie. I'm so glad you're all here. With us also is Matt's parents, Jim and Joanne Skyberg, and their great friends, Tasha and Carmine. Hey guys, I am so glad you're here. And I would be amiss if I did not mention that my long time friends of Randy Franklin and Deb Franklin are here too. So thank you for supporting me all through this, all these years. Thanks. But I have one last thank you, and it's kind of a backhanded thing. But when I graduated from college, I was not really in much of a hurry to go find a job. I was throwing beers in a bar, and it was okay. But somehow or other, my old friends, Van and Bob Fishback, called me up and said, "Yeah, we think we should pull you out of there." And they offered me a job, brought me in, and got me a career start. Now, Van and Bob are not here tonight, but I owe just an incredible thank you to them for maybe, getting me a start when I hadn't worked very hard at it. But they were pretty wonderful. I spent a certain amount of time there at the bank and worked in the trust department, excuse me. But working in that trust department, gave me a good segue into joining the South Dakota retirement system. And you know how we all have different things that turn out different than we expect, and hopefully most of them turn out well. Well, it turned out well. It was a great opportunity to learn about public service, to get to know the people at the South Dakota Investment Council, and it was really just kind of hard to imagine that our timing in all of this was so good. I mean, it was 1982, the markets were just horrible. The pension plan was just formed. It was 40% funded. It was dragging. And, somehow or other, in working with people like Paul Schrader and Doug Fiddler from the retirement system and all the staff there, working with Steve Myers, Matt Clark, all the staff and all of the council members, and I know some of the former council members are here tonight too, it worked. And it was the character of all the people, the same character that we mentioned in all of the speeches that we've made tonight, the same teamwork that was involved. The legislature and the executive branches of state government joined us in every turn. The people who were public employees, and I only have one correction to make, Dean, or President, it's now 100,000, not 90,000 anymore. Public employees and former public employees that are members of the system, they all got on board. They all knew that if we worked together, that everything would turn the way we needed it to turn. Well, it was not easy going every day. Neither is any other job, but we were fortunate. It all came together, and having built the security for those people that we all have appreciated, all those that work here at this university, all of our grade school and high school teachers, our police, our county, our city employees. It's just hard to imagine how South Dakota has really included everybody in the program. So, Kendra, you brought up something that I also think is a key thing to say, and that is you can go anywhere from here. But I've also thought about it a little bit lately that you can do and accomplish anything right here. You know, it's not necessarily going somewhere, but you can do it right here in South Dakota and accomplish it right here. And that's the wonderful, great thing of maybe just our group that stands up and says, we're gonna get this done. And so I thank you. I'm greatly honored for this opportunity to stand before you and put a medal over on the bookshelf, but it is greatly appreciated. But you know what it really means is that we have an incredible group of people who have worked together to accomplish things that benefit people today, but will benefit those people in the next generation and the next generation and the next. So thank you so much. Go Jacks.